Hello, everyone, and welcome to another amazing podcast by none other NikoTheLegend, also known as Nicholas Sorokin. And the time and date is 11:57 p.m., 12/27/2016. Yay! We just got past Christmas time. Everybody spent their hard-earned money for the presents that they just wanted to share with the world. And what did you get? And what did you guys get for Christmas? Wait, don't say it out loud. Leave in the comments below. Yep. Like, comment, subscribe if you want to let me know all your fascinating things you got. Or, sometimes, even if you don't receive anything, or as many things as your little sister, little brother, or the chosen older brother and the chosen older sister, still, giving presents is also an accomplishment in itself because you spent your hard-earned money to make that other person happy. Boy, I bet you were thinking of that, right? You guys were just so ready to be that excited to just give away all your money and hard-earned cash for those little presents that are probably worth about, I don't know, almost $1,000 altogether. But nonetheless, someone was happy, someone was sad, someone had tears, someone was angry. It's okay. The time to be together has passed. And fuck all of you now. We can go back to our shitty lives and not give a shit about anyone. Just kidding. We got New Year's coming. What are you guys doing for New Year's? Pop the champagne or you get a little frisky in the pool in the hot tub with your lady friends? That's like, if you have a New Year's party. Or are you waiting to have that New Year's kiss? Ooh, that's going to be nice. You guys better get ready. You better find that lady. You better hurry. Wear a condom. Better make sure she consents and don't do anything I wouldn't do. But now we're here. Christmas is over. New Year's is coming. And here, we're finally ready to talk about The Legend of Zelda. Yeah, I don't know what took me so long to talk about this. Like, I kind of wish I did more podcasts, like, every night. But you know how it goes is when my shift, I work like 3 to 1:30 or 11:30 at night. So I get home. And, I'm tired, and sometimes I have to be really in the mood to do a podcast and speak my mind on something that nobody's going to really listen to because, I'm just a nobody, right? But it doesn't matter. Someone out there might fall into this gold mine and discover my value. So, yeah, we're going to talk about The Legend of Zelda and what it did to me, what I think about it now, all the 101, I guess, of Zelda. But, the title will be The Greatness of Zelda for this podcast. And because The Legend of Zelda is such a giant in itself, and it's so great, so many amazing things were inspired from it, and so many just beloved worlds were created, and so many fans of the series. It's just amazing how they're still able to keep people buying Zelda games and playing the adventures over and over and over again. If that's not genius or ingenuity or immersion, fucking, I don't know what is, right? Tell me what game that keeps coming, makes you come back, and it's not Zelda. If you have another game that makes you keep coming back, let me know in the comments below. But like, Zelda, a lot of people, there's maybe a lot of people, because not everybody likes Zelda, right? Because, it's a Nintendo game, it's for kids. People say that about every Nintendo console. It's just for kids. I'm like, whatever. Don't give me that. To be honest, Zelda, I would say that Zelda is one of those the most mature Nintendo franchises. Now, don't get me wrong, a lot of them were for everyone, but there were some that were for teens, like the Twilight Princess. That was a pretty dark Zelda game. I don't know about Majora's Mask, I don't think so, but that was a pretty dark Zelda too. So it just depends on which Zelda, right? It's like Final Fantasy. Depending on which one you play, it all has different themes to it. Except there's always some sadness in Final Fantasy, and as you all know, Legend of Zelda has the same thing. So I'm pretty sure Zelda is way higher for than Mario's younger audience, because Zelda, like I said, is higher up there for the mature audience, I would say, because there's a guy with a sword just stabbing everything. I mean, Mario may have fireballs and flame people and like step on them, but it's just the way it's presented, right? The way it's animated. But Link's conquering, killing monsters and stuff, and demons, and saving the princess, and all kinds of stuff. Going through an actual really dangerous world of Hyrule, which it's always dangerous. It's never a nice place to live. Or is it? Well, let's find out with this discussion about it. So, The Legend of Zelda is this adventure role-playing game, action game. Now I call it a role-playing game because it is in its own way, in an adventure aspect. It's not like you level him up, but you do increase his. Well, you don't even increase his stats, but you do get weapons, you do quests and all that. It has a lot of RPG elements. It's just very, very basic, I guess, in a sense, because like, going with Final Fantasy, it has levels and yeah, leveling up your character and stat increases and all that. And it's got this huge like number system going on with all the stats and items, weapons, abilities, that have this huge number system going on. Zelda doesn't really have that. It's just you take it as it is. You can't. The only time you can really increase it if it's like the main weapon or something. But by then you just get an idea of how much stronger it is. There's no like pinpointing how much extra damage you do. It's just if you try to, it's an easy guess, right? But there's no way you can just look up the stats on the menu. So it's still a role playing game though, because it's pretty like Zelda 1 was probably the most non-linear Zelda there was, and Breath of the Wild coming out is probably going to be the next most non-linear. But that's a very RPG type adventure thing, That's a thing that was, newly invented. Like Final Fantasy 1 was like that. You just go anywhere you want, but except it had story. But Zelda 1 had the least amount of story. You just knew that Zelda was sleeping and then you had to kill Ganon. And there's 8 castles, or 9. But there was no direction or anything. Final Fantasy was like that too, except there was more story in the beginning. You just have to play both. You know what I mean, people. So, yeah. And Zelda, like I said, action adventure platformer. It stars this main character named Link, who's always out there to rescue Zelda the princess against the clutches of the evil Gerudo Ganondorf, or Ganon, whatever fucking word you want to call him. I mean, Ganon, I guess, is his ultimate evil form, and Ganondorf is like the precursor before he uses the Triforce of Power, which that's the main synopsis. Is that Ganon takes Zelda because he wants all the power of the Triforce. There's 3 parts of the Triforce: the Triforce of Power, Wisdom, and Courage. And Ganon always has power, Link always has courage, and Zelda always has wisdom. So, and Ganondorf kidnaps Zelda because she is the key to the ultimate power, the secrets, the Triforce, just touching the Triforce. He wants that. He wants the fucking golden triangles with a gap in the middle. So that's how it usually starts. But, every Zelda game has their own way of doing it, It's just, no one game is the same. And there are barely any sequels for Zeldas. Now, if you want to get real technical about it, they're all sequels. They all follow in this crazy fucking timeline, which I'm sure Nintendo wasn't even trying to do, but people just decided to put that in because there are a lot of remnants of other games in it. So it could be just one of those things that the game is so great that the creators didn't expect that Shigeru Miyamoto, which is amazing, creates Donkey Kong, Mario, and Link, and people just decided to put matters in their own hands with their imagination. That to me, I think, is great game design. Because it's like, oh shit, we unintentionally decided to correlate all these games or interconnect them. Who knows, right? They'll never tell you the secrets of their tricks. A magician never reveals his true secrets. So, yeah, straight from the classic, you get Zelda 1, right? And this ties into how I discovered Zelda for the first time. Okay, so I had 2 older brothers. I still do. So there's no had. I still have 2 older brothers. And they were the ones that showed me Zelda 1 because they had the original Nintendo, which I still call the old Nintendo. And I was like living in Missouri at the time, and I was like in my diapers, and I moved from California from the age of 1, and then moved to Missouri and lived there for 8 years. So from 2 to 9, basically, to 7. I'm sorry, or 2, yeah, 2 to 7, or 2 to 8, whatever you want to call it. 7 years there, and yeah, they had the old Nintendo, and I decided to give it a whirl because you guys remember the first Zelda had that gold cartridge, and it was amazing looking. Like, it was so cool to have that. It was just, it stood out. It looked really fucking awesome. And the gold cartridge thing was a thing for a while. from, I say, all the way to N64 with Majora's Mask. I mean, Ocarina of Time was gold, Majora's Mask was gold. Was Link's Awakening gold? No, DX was black. Link to a Past, I'm sure, was gold, I want to say, but the first two Zeldas were definitely. And it was just, I mean, how cool was that, right? So when I saw that, and I saw the cover of the first Zelda game, which is just Link's shield, and that's all you needed. It was so subtle, the way the cover looked for the cartridge and the box itself, if you had the box still. I don't remember ever seeing the box as a kid. No way. I think we might have thrown it away. Big mistake, right? And, I plopped that game in, and boy, I was ready for an adventure. You just can't forget that beginning theme song, right? With the doo-doo, doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. Dude, I don't even know what I'm singing anyway, but you know what I'm talking about. Where it goes do 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 do. Yeah, anyway. That song. And I was ready. I was dealing with those old fucking controllers too, because I mean, you could just go to pick your you put your name in the game, which is also an RPG element. It doesn't have to be Link, but you can put your name. And the controls were so ridiculous. It's like I don't even know how to switch to each profile. That you can have three, on the cartridge in the game, because there were save files in the game. It was the only game at that time that had save files for the first Nintendo. Really, no other game had it. Really, it was just you had to beat it all in one sitting. And you do it or you give up. So, haha, serves you right. Just kidding. So, yeah, you make your character in the game. You don't make it, but you pick your name. You start out. You try to figure out how to press select and get to the fucking start fucking option. And you have to press select on the controller. You can't just press down or anything. You have to press one of the weird input buttons on the right of the controller, which was, I think, B or A to start it up. But guess what? You start it and then bam, it just pans open and Link's just in the middle of this goddamn barren field with mountains around him. The theme song's playing and you're like, whoa, I'm playing fucking Zelda right now. I'm just throwing into the mix. There's already shit that went wrong. There's already action. And then you see this black hole behind you against the rock wall, and you just go fucking in it. It's like, hey, this is the easiest point of entry. I'm going because I feel like I'll accomplish something, not just going left, right, or up or down on the screen, right? Because who knows what the fuck I'll face. You can't see anything past that because the game's so old. Didn't have that type of memory capabilities. Everything reset basically when you left the screen. So you go into the fucking dark cave and there's this old man just chilling in the darkness with two flames. So is it really dark inside? Well, the floor is black and he's wearing a red robe, and then the flames are up and it's still dark in there. And he says the most famous lines of any fucking video game. Well, maybe besides your princess in another castle in Mario 1. But this one's the cream of the crop. It's dangerous to go alone. Take this. And he gives you your first fucking weapon. The wooden sword. What? And Link's just ready to go on an adventure with this little puny shield that he has. He didn't even have a weapon. Not even a wooden blade. This old man. You have no idea what he's doing there. What his purpose is. Besides giving you some advice and some shit. Then you see him in other dungeons. Just gives you this weapon. And then you're on your merry way to fuck all the dungeons up, kill all the monsters, find all the secrets, get all the items, conquer fucking Ganon, rescue the babe. And you do that. But it's not an easy game. No old Nintendo game is fucking easy. But you know what? It was such a blast to play it and adventure through the land of Hyrule, no matter how chaotic and dangerous it was, because it was a dangerous fucking game. There was no rest time. You know what the resting time was? Is when you kill all the enemies and no one's left on the screen, or you go to an area where nothing's in there, or you go in one of those caves and there are people hiding there. You got vendors, you got fairies, you just got all kinds of shit. Everyone's hiding because it's a dangerous fucking planet, world, land, whatever. And let me tell you, folks, I gave up the first playthrough, like real playthrough I had of the game because I was fucking lost. I didn't know how to get through some of these dungeons because they required some fucking brain power. There were some secrets in that game I couldn't I couldn't solve. I couldn't crack the code. So that was a sad ending for me, right? I spent so much time in that game in the first playthrough, and then the second playthrough, I finally figured it out because I was a little older. I was way older when I played it, like hardcore playthrough the second time. I want to say I was in my early teenage years or whatever growing up. Like I said, I played that first save file a long time trying to figure this shit out because the game's pretty long. There's a lot to explore. There's a lot of times you get fucking lost, especially in the Lost Woods, figuring out that fucking code. I don't know how anybody figured it out back in the day, but my brothers knew, and I had to remember that. You see, I had to remember a lot of these things, these different fucking puzzles and all that. It was insane. That was another great thing about Zelda, is that it had, even the first Zelda, it had puzzles in it. Secrets. Just so many aspects of the game were introduced to us for the very first time. And if that's the path you took, the game taught you so much then. You were lucky. It taught you what the world is the world of gaming is capable of on this Zelda. Zelda 1 was literally a masterpiece. It really is. It still is. People fucking play that game all the time still. I still think it aged well. I still love the animation and what they did. I mean, come on. You just can't beat that. And it's just everything about it was incredible experience. Just all the aspects of it. I mean, you name it. It was great. Even if I didn't beat the game on the first playthrough, I still had a great time doing it because I was being tested. This was like a giant trial for this fairy boy Link. By the way, he's an elf. Everyone's an elf that looks human in the game. They're all elves. And Ganon's just some pig fucking demon. But Zelda was an elf too. She's like this beautiful princess ruler. But anyway, yeah, the second time I played it, I figured it out. I played so many games in the meantime. I played Zelda 2, which, oh god, I can't stand that game. It was ridiculously hard and annoying and just poorly designed. I don't know what they were going for. I think they went more role-playing, like RPG style in that game. Because that game, you had ways of increasing your stats and magic abilities that you couldn't in the first one. You could in the first one, let me correct that, you could in the first one, but it just didn't show what your current stats were. Like I was saying before when I talking about Final Fantasy, how you could do for that. But in Zelda 2, you could see the stats and what costs this and what does this. You know what I mean. The nitty gritty of it. It wasn't hiding from you. But Zelda 2, yeah, like, oh god, that was such a hard game. It was a side-scrolling game when you're in dungeons or towns, and then when you're in the overworld, it was just like Zelda 1. It was isometric, kind of. It was just, it was way zoomed out more than Zelda 1 was. The Link was pretty tiny. But you walk around the world, and then the monsters pop out like a Final Fantasy fucking game, and then you go into them, and you have to fight them or escape the area. So it was a pretty perilous journey. I mean, I don't know how many people... I beat the game years down the road, way after Zelda 1. I was probably like almost 20 years old. And I had to use fucking save states because I emulated. I didn't have any more. I never had Zelda 2. I had to play it on computer or rent it back in the day. So, yeah, Zelda 2 and then Link to a Past. I never played Link to a Past in between, on the way to Ocarina of Time. That was a lot. Because Link to a Past was amazing, for the Super Nintendo. We never had... My brothers and I, we never had it for Super Nintendo. We had a Super Nintendo, obviously. We had a ton of fucking games. But for some reason, we never bought Link to a Past. We just had a friend that had it, and we were just blown away by how amazing the game was. Because that game was definitely a masterpiece, too. That definitely introduced a lot of new concepts. It still had the basic scenario. Like, for instance, Zelda's trapped. Ganon, go through a bunch of dungeons. Link gets powerful, kills, saves the princess in the end. Basically, it's the same synopsis every time. It doesn't change like Mario. So that's the thing with Nintendo. They like to keep with the same formulas over and over and over. But whatever. That's fine. The games are great, so am I going to complain what's not broken? So, yeah, we never got a chance to play Link to a Past, but, oh, yeah. Oh, I'll get to Ocarina of Time in a second. So, yeah, like I said before, Zelda 2, I beat it with my best friend in California. After I moved to, I was living in we moved back to California, uh, and I met my best friends there, and then I moved to Florida, and then eventually, I would visit California all the time, like twice a year, or whatever, and then we would always play video games when I visited my best friend's house out in Cali, and then we decided to beat Zelda 2, and yeah, we emulated it, and we had save states everywhere we went, because that game was so fucking dangerous, and then we beat Shadow Link at the end, which is really the stupidest fight ever in that game, because it was just stupid hard. Like, I think that game was just, like, it was like almost over budget. Like they were trying so much in the game, trying to change and add so many. I don't know, whatever they did. But anyway, so yeah, that's enough of Zelda 2. Let's not talk about that crap game. That was the only Zelda game I'd never liked. Because it's just ridiculously hard, and it's just not even a smart hard. It's just like, when you're playing like old games and you're supposed to learn from your mistakes and stuff and you get better, Zelda 2 wasn't like that. It was just way too hard. It was so hard to figure out like enemy movements and patterns and where to go, what to do. Ugh, just gross. Anyway, so now we're getting to 1998, and I was living in Missouri still. A lot has happened. A lot of games that I've played, a lot of things I've experienced, progressing from the first Nintendo to Super Nintendo to N64, which I got an N64 for my fucking birthday. I want to say 1996 or something. I think 1996 when it first came out. Guys, I literally screamed like a little girl when I got my N64. And for some fucking reason, we didn't have Mario 64. I don't know why. Mind blown. I don't know why. I don't remember. But we had, we had Star Fox 64. Because I believe it came with the N64. If not, we bought it separately. And it came with a Rumble Pack. Star Fox 64. Whew, amazing game. But we're not talking about N64's greatness. We're talking about Ocarina of Time. So 2 years go down the road. I'm starting to see these commercials on TV. And I think I've read about Ocarina of Time in magazines or something, but mainly I saw the commercial for Ocarina of Time and I literally shat my pants. Like, it was playing the Conan Barbarian theme and showing these epic cutscenes of Link kicking some serious fucking ass, just doing all these crazy things. First 3D Zelda, like, what? It looked amazing. My mind was fucking blown. Like I said, the epicness of the commercial, thanks to the fucking Conan theme. It was just like coming this holiday. Oh my god. Like, I would have came all over the place if I was like 10 years older. Like, I was super fucking stoked. And the sad thing is with my brothers, it's like they're the ones that got me into Zelda, but then they kind of fell out of the Zelda train, or off the Zelda train, which I don't understand, because it's always a great game, but I guess they grew out of it because they took the Xbox route eventually, and I went the GameCube route for a bit, but then I went Xbox, and now I'm just like Xbox, PlayStation, and Nintendo. I don't have a side. I just, hey, there's a game that I like, I'm gonna go play it on that console, whatever. I don't have a PS4. I have a Wii U and an Xbox One, and then a bunch of retro consoles. Yeah, you get it. So, Ocarina of Time's coming out. Fucking coolest looking game. My body's ready, and oh my god. And now I don't remember the exact order on how this went, on how I got it, because I believe my dad I think he rented it for me, and I don't remember if he rented it the night before or something. Like, he rented it the first day it came out, or the second day, and then I couldn't play it because sleepy time or something like that. Like I said, I was like 10. No, not 10. I was like 7 or 8 or something like that. Yeah, I was pretty fucking young. I can't remember exactly, but what I do remember is that following morning for school, I think it was like 6 in the morning, I got up. I was so excited. I saw that beast of a game on a table or something from this like rental store, which rental games back in the day were like $3, which was crazy. But you know, if you compare it to now, it's probably the same thing as like $10. But what did I know? And I popped that bad boy in my N64, and holy shit, I was just astounded right from the. It's like the what's great about Nintendo is that they always had these really cool Nintendo 64 logos that would pop up. Like they would always do that. Like their presentation value for Nintendo consoles was so good back in the day. It's like Nintendo Presents, you know, for like in Super Nintendo, it had that for like Mario games. It would always play like a really cool sound, like a sound bit from the game. But you know, N64 had that too. You know, titles that were getting more animated and stuff. That was becoming a thing. You know, but and then lo behold, you know, the fucking I can't even express how I felt. Like it was just amazing. You just hear the music playing, a completely different soundtrack, like orchestrated, not even used to the orchestrated part, but playing the not the Hyrule theme, but just the title theme. Title pops up, you see Link on a horse, a fucking horse. That first Zelda game to ever have horseback riding, 3D, all this shit, orchestrated music for a fucking cartridge, guys. How incredible is that, right? And then, holy shit, press start after the beautiful intro. You watched the whole intro. I don't know how many times I watched the whole Zelda Ocarina of Time intro. It's just so magnificent. They're so fucking good with that shit. Like, they know what they're fucking doing with that. They fucking know what gets the people's attentions. Such a subtle, beautiful intro. And yeah, like I said, you press start. You get fucking ready. The menu has been keeping this reoccurring theme that started out in Link to a Past. It's like the same MIDI in every Zelda game, leading from Link to a Past and beyond to present day. And you know, like also like in every Zelda game, you pick your name, you put your name in, and then you start. And oh my god. As soon as the game starts, you hear the Deco Tree, Navi. No, I lied. You see the fucking Hyrule Castle in pitch black, or you know, nighttime, raining. You just see this little green guy in a green tunic who I'm assuming is Link, tiny little kid. You know, fucking bridge goes down. You don't know what's going on. Everything's flashing, kind of going fast, you know, fast movements, you know, kind of skipping here and there, kind of to give you an idea what the fuck's going on. It was definitely a foreshadow type scene. And then all of a sudden, but you didn't know that at the time. And all of a sudden, you see this horse come out of the fucking Hyrule Market, and Link dodges out of the way, and it's Zelda with this strange character, which we figure out is Impa, her caretaker, and she just, I don't remember if she tosses the ocarina into the water in that scene. I have to watch it again, but you don't see it yet, I don't think. And then what happens when you turn around? You see the most fucking disturbing looking villain, angry looking villain, ginger villain that you've ever seen in your whole life. It changed your fucking childhood forever. You knew the threat was real. It was motherfucking, not Ganondorf. That fucker was on his black steed, in his black armor, with his ginger hair, green skin. And you guys do the stare down. It does a little, you know, skips here for the scene. It goes scene to scene real fast. And then, blam. It turns, and then it goes into this dialogue with the great Deku Tree, which watches over the Kokiri Forest. Talking to a fairy named Navi. Yep, fairies that talk. You have a fairy friend. And then, guys, she sets off to find you in your village, wakes you up, and an adventure begins. And holy shit, that was incredible. That was amazing intro. Just the first 5 minutes, I'm fucking glued in. Even the first minute. And that game, like, eventually I'm going to do a podcast about Ocarina of Time on how great that game is, because you can definitely talk so much about that. That game really, really changed my life. when it comes to gaming and just everything. Adventure. I always wanted to go on an adventure and be Link for fucking ever because it was amazing. Oh my gosh, the things you did in the game, the dungeons and the quests, the realism, like, oh my god, just everything was so new about it. It was third person for the very first fucking time. And you know what? Not to leave out any important information, but just know that that game really was, it still is a masterpiece. I think it's aged well. It came out on the 3DS in 2011, and it looks even better. But it doesn't matter. You can enjoy it on Ocarina. You can enjoy it on N64 still. I think it's aged way better than Mario 64. But Mario 64 is still fucking amazing too. But the point is, guys, is that the greatness of Zelda, when you're playing any Zelda game, you expect the same plot, right? Same characters, same type of characters, but it's never really the same, exact same experience. Even if it has the same synopsis, it's still, even though it's still in the world of Hyrule, it still feels like a brand new world on how they design it, scope and everything. You still feel like you're playing a whole new universe. And it's always an amazing new experience because you don't know what to expect in the world of Zelda, in the Zelda universe. You just don't. You go from, after that, you go from GameCube, from the N64, you go from GameCube, you go to the Wii, and then you go to the Wii U. And then now, we're going back to our roots with Breath of the Wild, which is the latest one coming out next year for the Wii U and the NX, sorry. And that game is going to be like Zelda 1, but even fucking better. With everything you can do, survival, climate, eating, burning things, cutting down trees, and doing all this crazy stuff like survival of the fittest type shit. Going anywhere, the world is huge, it looks amazing, the graphics are great. And that's how far we've come with Zelda. They're still able to come out with things that people will love, and they're not afraid to take risks. I know a bunch of people that didn't like how Breath of the Wild was shaping up to be, but I thought it looked amazing from the get-go. I think it's going to be fun, like amazingly fun. I'm like, yeah, they're trying to go back to their roots and what made Zelda 1 so great, except this is going to be even better and have added stuff to it, if Zelda 1 was like Breath of the Wild, had Breath of the Wild graphics, it would probably have been the same fucking thing, But Shigeru Miyamoto knows what he's fucking doing. He loves Zelda. It's probably his most prized possession. That guy is an amazing, amazing person. He's literally a masterpiece in itself. He is an artist of all things video game. He is definitely the master. And, with his Zelda franchise, he taught us a lot about ourselves, about what we're capable of and what we should do in life, and, kind of have that sense of urgency. Now, I'm not saying like the White Knight, damsel in distress thing, but the hardships of encountering a big foe, like in real life, the bully, that you deal with in life, and learning how to overcome that fear of traveling across these lands and stuff. But, just put it as, in a symbolic way. Because a lot goes into overcoming your fear of a big enemy in real life, You have to have the skills. You have to have the tools, necessary. You just got to know things, And Zelda does that. It teaches you friendships of, people you meet along the way and helping people, and realize how important it is to get something done, and don't beat around the bush or don't wait around for it to happen for you, because it's not going to happen. So, the imagination, the fantasy level, it's just there. It's just shrouded in mystery. Like I said, you think you know what you're going to get out of a Zelda game, but you're wrong. You're wrong. You know why? Because if it was like that, then every Zelda game would be your favorite, right? No, there's only one favorite Zelda game you have. Mine's Twilight Princess. Now, we'll go into that right now. Now, Twilight Princess, a lot of people didn't like because well, first of all, usually games that have you turn into an animal, or polymorph into something, or anamorph, whatever the fuck you want to call it, it doesn't usually bode well for gamers, because gamers don't like that. They want to just be Link. They don't want any of that secondary shit, that additional change. But I feel like they did it really well in Twilight Princess, because you're not the wolf for that long. I mean, it's see, here's the thing. The wolf part, the only time you really have to do it is when you're doing this main story. But exploring in Twilight Princess, I won't tell you how you become a wolf, but you do eventually. In between that, you don't have to be the wolf. Like, people feel like you're just the wolf the whole time. I'm like, no, it's nothing like that. And the wolf wasn't even, I think the wolf was fine. I thought it was cool that they did that, because they're not afraid to take risks. I mean, Twilight Princess, to me, is an amazing fucking game. I feel like if you didn't have the wolf part in it, I feel like it's what Ocarina of Time would have been like if it was released on the GameCube. Because the game was released on the Wii and the GameCube, but then it came out this year on the Wii U as the HD edition, which looks amazing, by the way. But I feel like that would have been the intensity, the graphics, the gameplay, you know what I mean? Just the amount of detail that would have been in Ocarina of Time if the game was released later, you know? But when Ocarina of Time came out, that was the detail. We had everything. We thought it was amazing, of all the characters and stuff you meet along the way, and the detail and the in-depth analysis of everything. You know, it was just, Twilight Princess just went up and beyond all that. Like, oh my god, I love it. There's just so much. The story is so good in that game. It's so dark. It's one of the darkest Zeldas out there, and that's why I like it so much. You know, along with Majora's Mask. See, the thing is with Majora's Mask was a little sinister. It was a little creepy. And there's some creepy parts in Twilight Princess, but that wasn't the main theme, though. Or was it? Maybe it is a creepy game, because there are some pretty creepy ass themes in that game. But anyway, so my favorite Zelda is Twilight Princess and Ocarina of Time. It always has. It always will. I can't tell you how many times I play Ocarina of Time over and over, even after I've beaten it. I love getting all 3 spiritual stones in the beginning of Ocarina of Time, and then getting the Master Sword, which, by the way, holy fucking shit, that was amazing. Guys, we had no fucking clue that the Master Sword was in the Temple of Time when we got the 3 stones. I fucking blew my load so hard. It was this Temple of Time. The theme song was so fucking cool. You put the stones by playing the Song of Time, which you get from Zelda, which, remember in the beginning of Zelda, she was on horseback. She does throw an Ocarina of Time in the water. You get it. You play the Song of Time that you learn from her through spiritual sexiness. Play that at the altar in the Temple of Time. Fucking cool song plays. Doors open, light flashes, doors open. And what do you see in the distance? You don't know exactly, but you have an idea. The fucking Master Sword. You walk up to it. It's a little quiet. No, that's not quiet. I think the song's still playing, but in your mind, it was one of those standstill moments, those silent moments. The suspense was crazy. You pull the sword, it plays this little tingling noise. Pull it, fucking blue aura comes around you, or blue whatever barrier beam blasts upward with you, and this is fucking epic. And then, holy shit, you go forward 7 years in time, and you have the great evil Bane, the great sword of conquering all evil, and you're a fucking adult now. What? Yeah. So you can only imagine how my mind was fucking blown in that game. Oh my god, that's why I played the beginning part all the way up to that multiple times. But I love the setting of Twilight Princess too. Like, I love the intro for Twilight Princess. It's so fucking deep, and it's amazing. I just can't get enough of it. But anyway, so I feel that Zelda is literally one of the best franchises, top 10 I've ever played in my life. It's never going to stop being great. It's got so much potential. It's just, there's so much room for, not improvement, but it's always going to have potential. So much more potential. No matter how great you think the Zelda game is, there's always going to be a Zelda game that's just going to blow your mind away. with ideas and just everything. Talent. Those guys are so talented that do that. I mean, you got composers like Koji Kondo, you got project directors Shigeru Miyamoto, and then I think this is Final Fantasy's character design, Tetsuya Nomura. I can't remember who did. Maybe Miyamoto did it, the character design or the game, whatever. You know what I'm talking about, guys. And yeah, like I said, Breath of the Wild is gonna be the next step. You know, like I said, everyone's going. Despite Link being an open world game, always an open world game, this will be the most open world that we've seen of a Zelda game, besides Zelda 1. But who knows? Zelda Breath of the Wild has a lot more things you're going to be doing to explore. And I can't fucking wait when it comes out, especially for the Nintendo Switch. But that's how I feel about Zelda, the greatness of Zelda. It is always there. Guys, let me know what you think about Zelda. What is your favorite Zelda? Let me know in the comments below. What didn't you like about Zelda? Why is it not your favorite franchise, or why is it? What's your least favorite Zelda? You know, give me some cool things. You know, let me know what your discovery was of Zelda. How did you discover it for the first time? What was the one Zelda game that got you hooked? You know, like I said, I may have played Zelda 1, but that wasn't the game to really blow my mind with the franchise. Ocarina of Time was. So it takes time to find the golden apple that really changed the fucking way you see video games and The Legend of Zelda. So I thank you, folks. This has been another podcast of Nico the Legend. Time is 12:38 a.m. The date is 12/28/2016. Have a great night, folks. And guess what? Enjoy New Year's. If I don't, I know I want to do more podcasts. I want to do at least one every night. I don't care how long it is. There's so much to talk about with gaming. Anyway, good night, folks. Thank you.